It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus.
So session 6 of Genuine Worship. Now the last issue that Malachi tackles was that of the tithe. And the tithe can be a rather misunderstood thing. It is a principle of giving 10% to God. It was first done by Abraham when Melchizedek came out and blessed him, and it says Abraham gave him a tenth of all he had. The principle of tithing is not, well, it is a principle. It's not actually part of the law, but it is endorsed by the law. Now Malachi said to the people, you are robbing God. You're robbing him by not giving your tithes. And then he says in chapter 3, verse 10, test me in this and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will be no room enough in the storehouse. Now I've had someone tell me in a little bit of pique, well, we've been tithing but God's not blessing us. I think they've got hold of the wrong idea. First of all, tithing was to put food in the storehouse for the Levites because they did not have land to work. But during the time of Malachi, because the people weren't giving their tithes, there was not enough for the Levites, and so they were forced to go and find work for money. And this meant that their temple duties were being neglected. The lack of generosity on the part of the people was holding back God's work. To see tithing as a legal requirement that's going to bring us blessing is to see things the wrong way round. Everything we have belongs to God. He generously allows us to live on 90% of what he's given us. And the 10% is an acknowledgement that we owe everything to him, and it's to be given in thankfulness. The tithing of what we have is not a sign of spiritual maturity. It simply means we've stopped being a thief. The Pharisees saw tithing as a legal requirement, and they thought that that would bring them God's approval. And so they even tithed a tenth of their herb garden. It isn't a duty. It's a response of thanksgiving and love. Does tithing open up the heavens so that we may receive blessing? If given in the context of thankfulness and love, yes, it does. And the blessings may not necessarily be material, but they will come. It's the practice of generosity that allows blessings to flow. In Acts 10 we have the story of Cornelius, who was a Roman centurion. It tells us that he and his family were devout and God-fearing. It says he gave generously to those in need. And one day an angel appeared to him and said this, your prayers and your gifts to the poor have come up as a memorial offering before God. His generosity had opened a pathway in heaven. And the result of his generosity was that Peter was sent to him, and Peter was speaking about Jesus, and suddenly the Holy Spirit fell on the group that were there. The generosity of Cornelius had enabled the Holy Spirit to be given. His generosity had opened the heavens. So is tithing just an Old Testament thing? Well, no. It's a principle of God. Those who love God recognise that he is the giver of everything and want to acknowledge that by giving at least a tenth of what we have to his work is what we want to do. Those who do it find that they receive great blessing in return. To simply give God a few dollars that we think we can spare will never bring us blessing. It's not the amount, it's the attitude and the commitment.
Oh, the mercy of God, the glory of grace, that you chose to redeem us, to forgive and restore, and you call us your children, chosen in him, to be holy and blameless, to the glory of God, to the praise of the richness of grace, the depths of His love. In His redemption, the forgiveness of sin. You called us as righteous, predestined in Him, for the praise of His glory, included in Christ. To the praise of His glorious grace, to the praise of His glory and power, to Him be all glory, honor and praise, forever and ever and ever. Amen. Oh, the glory of grace expressed in His Son, His image and likeness revealed to us all, the plan of the ages completed in Christ, that we be presented perfected in Him, to the praise of His glorious grace, to the praise of His glory and power, to Him be all glory, honor and praise, forever and ever and ever. Amen. Come back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I've made. When it's all about you.